Hi, I'm James. Are you looking for a way to engage with your team members, your staff, your stakeholders like that? Well, podcasting may have the answer for you. Let's talk about it. Hey, so if you're new to this channel, my name is James Mulvaney. I've been working in the audio industry for the past 15 years, helping entrepreneurs and businesses get results. I'm founder of radio.co, podcast.co, and matchmaker.fm. So you can go and check them out if you like. And if you enjoy content like this, talking about podcasting and audio, remember to subscribe to this channel because I'm pushing out new content every Friday. Now we've got that out of the way, today I wanted to talk about internal podcasts, podcasts for your business, and really just talk about why I think they're so powerful as a tool for engagement, how you can roll it out in your organization to really deliver results and get your employees engaged or get your stakeholders engaged with what you're talking about, and also get people involved in podcasts because it's a really great collaborative medium and you can get your team members involved in the podcast. It's a great way to showcase people, and we're going to be going into all of that in today's video. So I want to cover off 4 key points. First of all, attention. Second, communication. Third, community, and finally, personal development. So let's talk about attention to begin with. Podcasts as a medium are absolutely fantastic at holding people's attention. Now, as a marketer or someone who's looking to get a message across to, a large group of people, e.g., a CEO, a founder, or perhaps you're involved with internal communications or PR for your organization, having that attention span from beginning to end is really, really hard to come by, particularly when it comes to traditional forms of communication. I'm talking about things like perhaps, an email newsletter. How many of your staff are actually opening and reading and engaging with that email newsletter from top to bottom? Probably very few, because the problem with email is you're competing with hundreds, if not thousands of other emails landing in that person's inbox. So yeah, they might say, okay, set a reminder to read this tomorrow or mark this as unread, but ultimately you're requiring that person's time to actually sit down, read through that email, and you're competing against just a huge barrage of other emails from commercial organizations, spam, other colleagues, all sorts of stuff which are constantly landing in everyone's inbox every day. So I think as a communication tool for larger organizations, email has kind of got really, really sort of started to wane. Going back before email, you might have actually sent out a physical newsletter. Do you remember those days where you put it in someone's pigeonhole? Again, that would get put to the bottom of their in tray on their desk. Podcasts, however, have been proven to retain people's attention. About 70% of listeners of podcasts will actually tune in for the entire episode. So wouldn't that be great? If you go into your last email blast and look at the stats, I guarantee you there won't be 70% of people who have opened that email, let alone 70% of people who have read that email. 70% of people who start listening to a podcast episode will actually tune into the entire episode. So if you've got 20 minutes to talk to someone, that's an incredible amount of time to get a lot of information across. Certainly more information you could probably get across in written form. So that's the first point of why you should be thinking about podcasts as a great way for internal communications. It doesn't matter if you've got 200 employees or 2,000 or 20,000. Your organization could really, really benefit from the attention factor of podcasts. Okay, so the second thing I wanted to talk about is communication. Getting information across to people, across to your stakeholders, across to your employees. How do you make a good podcast? What makes a podcast, rather than just kind of like this pointless waffle, into something that's really, really actionable and, effectively listenable? Well, the best thing, when we're working with corporate clients who are producing internal podcasts or doing private podcasts for their stakeholders, for their employees, for their team members, etc., we always recommend breaking it down into segments. So you have a repeatable structure. Each episode you release, whether that be once a week or once a month or however often you decide to roll it out, every single episode follows a similar structure, follows a similar length. That way you're giving people really an idea of what to expect. Perhaps there's some relevant sections to them that have kind of got more importance than others. They can easily skip to that section. They know that if they choose, they go to 5 minutes in, they can get the updates on the latest sales stats, for example, or they might go to 15 minutes in and hear from employees who have done really, really well. Just make sure each time you're creating a podcast, you're following the same structure format, and you're also following the same timescale so people know what to expect and when they can expect to hear it in that particular episode. So next up is community and workplace culture. Now this is crucial, and I think this is one of the ways that podcasts really have an incredible amount of power versus other mediums, because you have the opportunity to get people involved in the podcast. You can interview your colleagues, you can interview people who have done well, you can shine spotlights on departments that have done well or individuals that have really excelled at their jobs. This is not only rewarding for the people involved, but also it gives everyone else a wider perspective of what's going on in the company. Every company has issues sometimes with breakdowns in communication, and podcasts are a fantastic way to really communicate exactly what's happening from a wider perspective across the board for the entire company, particularly when it comes to businesses that have got perhaps satellite offices or they've got distributed workforces. Getting everyone on the same page can even be difficult with all the technology surrounding us, things like Zoom meetings, etc. Still, they're not always the most effective at actually getting people on the same page. Whereas podcasting, as I mentioned, not only do you have people's attention, but you can actually communicate and build that sense of community, make people feel like they're part of something wider, and really, really engage with everyone who's involved or everyone who's listening to that podcast. And as I mentioned earlier, the best way to really cultivate that sense of community or culture is to actually come up with a plan, something that people can get involved with. So you can give workers a creative outlet. You don't want the podcast just to be one person. You want to get different people across different departments or different offices involved. So, they can kind of introduce themselves, and it gives people the sense of, oh wow, there are actually other people working in this organization who aren't just kind of like names on an CC or names on an email sheet. If you watch the end of this video, I'm actually going to offer a free download which will help you effectively plan a company podcast. This is top stuff. This is stuff that we've been rolling out with our clients. We know it works really, really well as a format. So stay tuned to the end and I'll give you that URL where you can go and download that for free. Okay, on the subject of personal development, there's different ways that this can help impact your team in terms of personal development. Firstly, you can actually deliver training, you can deliver motivation and really increase people's drive through a podcast directly, whether that's words directly from your CEO, or maybe you have a consultant that you work with who's in charge of personal growth and team development. This gives them an outlet to really kind of motivate people and get people excited about what they're doing. So the second way that podcasts can help really with personal development, as I mentioned before, if you get people involved, it's actually a great way to train people up in public speaking or presentation skills. So perhaps you've got people who've just joined your certain teams, they're not the best public speakers, they're not the best talkers. Well, get them on a podcast. If you can actually get someone heading up that podcast or presenting a segment every single month, I guarantee you it will help with their personal development in terms of public speaking, presentation skills, whatever you want to call it. Podcasts can be a fantastic way to help your team members with their public speaking communication skills. So finally, just to finish things up, I'd love to share with you something we've put together which we're really passionate about, and it is effectively a plan which will help you build an internal podcast for your business. We've worked with multiple companies over the past couple of years in terms of building their internal podcasts. We know really what works, what doesn't work, and this is effectively a plan that can be rolled out across any sector. Doesn't matter what industry your organization operates in, the principles are the same. It's keep it short, keep it sweet, and make sure that you're giving people the information you need. So we've put together a plan which will talk you through the process that we use when we're working with clients. And of course, if you're interested in working with us directly, we'll give you some more information on how you get in touch too. So to download this, go to jamesm.com/plan, where you can download your free guide to creating an internal podcast for your business. That's jamesm.com/plan. I'll put the link below there. And also, if you've got any questions, feel free to drop us an email on hello@podcast.co. Take it easy.